Ethan Carter was no stranger to struggle. At 25, he juggled 2 jobs just to keep a roof over his head and food on the table. Every morning began the same way, waking up before sunrise, grabbing a quick cup of coffee, and rushing to catch the bus that would take him across town to his first job at a warehouse. Life wasn't easy, but Ethan never complained. He believed in hard work and held onto the hope that one day, things would get better. One chilly autumn morning, as Ethan hurried down a busy street toward the bus stop, something caught his eye. An elderly man stood at the edge of a crosswalk, gripping a cane tightly. His face was pale, and he winced slightly as if in pain. Cars zoomed past, honking impatiently, while pedestrians rushed by without a second glance. The old man, clearly injured, looked lost and unsure of how to navigate the chaos. Ethan hesitated for a moment. He was already running late, and stopping could mean missing the bus and losing precious hours of pay. But something inside him couldn't ignore the man's plight. Taking a deep breath, Ethan approached him. "Excuse me, sir," he said gently. "Do you need help crossing?" The old man looked up, relief washing over his face. "Yes, thank you," he replied, his voice weak but grateful. "My knee. It's not doing too well today." Without another thought, Ethan stepped closer, offering his arm for support. Together, they slowly made their way across the street, dodging the impatient flow of traffic. Once they reached the other side, Ethan asked, "Are you sure you're okay? Do you need someone to call for help?" The old man shook his head, managing a small smile. "I'll be fine now, son. Thank you for your kindness." Ethan nodded, then glanced at his watch. He was officially late, but strangely he didn't feel regretful. Helping this stranger felt like the right thing to do, even if it cost him a reprimand from his boss. As Ethan ran off to catch the next bus, he had no idea that this seemingly ordinary act of kindness would change his life forever. Little did he know, the old man he'd helped was none other than Mr. Harold Bennett, a wealthy philanthropist known for rewarding those who demonstrated genuine compassion. What Ethan thought was just a fleeting moment of goodwill would soon lead to an extraordinary opportunity. One that would test his resolve, shape his future, and remind him of the power of kindness. The next morning, Ethan woke up exhausted after another long day of work. He was still replaying the events from the previous morning in his mind. The old man, the busy street, and the unexpected warmth he'd felt while helping him. It had been such a small act, but it stayed with him, reminding him that even in tough times, kindness mattered. As Ethan sipped his coffee, there was a knock at the door. Opening it, he found a well-dressed man holding a briefcase. "Good morning," the man said with a polite smile. "Are you Ethan Carter?" Ethan frowned, confused. "Yes, that's me. Can I help you?" The man introduced himself as Mr. Richard Hayes, a lawyer representing someone named Harold Bennett. Ethan's eyes widened in recognition. "Wait, Mr. Bennett? The guy I helped cross the road yesterday." "That's correct," the lawyer replied, nodding. "Mr. Bennett asked me to convey his gratitude for your kindness. He was deeply moved by what you did and would like to express his appreciation." Ethan scratched the back of his neck, feeling uneasy. "It wasn't a big deal. I just helped him cross the street. No need for thanks." But Mr. Hayes insisted, explaining that Harold Bennett was not just any ordinary man. A wealthy philanthropist, Mr. Bennett had spent decades supporting causes close to his heart, often seeking out individuals who demonstrated compassion and integrity. Ethan's actions had caught his attention, and he wanted to do something meaningful in return. "Mr. Bennett has extended an offer to assist you," Mr. Hayes explained, opening his briefcase. "He understands your current situation and wants to provide you with an opportunity, whether it's funding for education or placement in a reputable company. Whatever you need to pursue your dreams." Ethan stared at him, stunned. This couldn't be real. Offers like this didn't happen to people like him. People struggling paycheck to paycheck, barely keeping their heads above water. I don't know what to say," he stammered finally. "This is incredible, but I'm not sure I deserve it." "You earned it," Mr. Hayes replied firmly. "By choosing to help when others walked by, you proved your character. That's rare, Ethan, and it deserves recognition." Overwhelmed, Ethan thanked the lawyer and promised to think about the offer. After the man left, Ethan sat down heavily on his couch, staring blankly at the wall. His mind raced with questions. Should he accept? Could he really trust this? And most importantly, could he rise to the challenge if he did? Later that evening, Ethan decided to visit Mr. Bennett personally. With the address provided by Mr. Hayes, he arrived at a grand estate surrounded by lush gardens. As he approached the front door, nerves tightened his chest. What would Mr. Bennett expect from him? Would accepting this generosity come with strings attached? An assistant led him into a cozy study where Harold Bennett sat waiting. Though frail and leaning on his cane, the old man greeted Ethan warmly. "Ah, Ethan," he said, extending his hand. "Thank you for coming." Ethan shook his hand awkwardly. "Mr. Bennett, I just want to say, I didn't do anything special yesterday. Anyone else would have done the same." Mr. Bennett smiled gently. "That's where you're wrong, my boy. Not everyone stops. Not everyone cares. You reminded me of why I started giving back all those years ago, to reward goodness wherever I find it." They talked for hours, sharing stories of hardships overcome and lessons learned. By the end of the meeting, Ethan realized Mr. Bennett wasn't offering charity. He was investing in potential. Inspired by the old man's faith in him, Ethan accepted the opportunity, vowing to use it wisely, not just for himself but for others. Little did Ethan know, this decision would set off a chain reaction, transforming not only his life but countless others as well. With Mr. Bennett's support, Ethan embarked on a journey he never thought possible. He enrolled in a prestigious training program at a top-tier company, one that offered mentorship, hands-on experience, and opportunities for growth. At first, the transition was overwhelming. The polished offices, sharp suits, and confident colleagues made him feel out of place. Many of his peers came from privileged backgrounds, speaking fluently about internships abroad and degrees from Ivy League schools. Ethan, with his worn shoes and stories of working double shifts, often felt like an imposter. But Ethan refused to let self-doubt hold him back. Every morning, he reminded himself why he was there, to prove that kindness and hard work could open doors no one thought possible. He threw himself into his tasks, staying late to master skills and asking endless questions when he didn't understand something. His determination caught the attention of his supervisors, who admired his grit and willingness to learn. As weeks turned into months, Ethan began to shine. He discovered talents he never knew he had: a knack for problem-solving, a natural ability to lead teams, and a creative approach to challenges. His colleagues started seeking his input during meetings, impressed by his fresh perspective and practical solutions. Slowly but surely, Ethan earned their respect, not because of where he came from, but because of what he brought to the table. During this time, Ethan maintained a close relationship with Mr. Bennett. They met regularly, discussing everything from career goals to life lessons. Mr. Bennett became more than just a benefactor. He became a mentor and father figure. "Success isn't just about achieving your dreams," Mr. Bennett told him one evening over tea. "It's about lifting others up along the way." Ethan took these words to heart. Outside of work, he volunteered at community centers, teaching job skills to young people struggling to find direction. He mentored teenagers in underprivileged neighborhoods, sharing his own story of perseverance and encouraging them to believe in themselves. These experiences reinforced his belief that success wasn't just personal, it was collective. One day, Ethan received an email inviting him to present a project proposal to the company's executive board. It was a high-stakes opportunity, and Ethan knew it would test everything he'd learned so far. For weeks, he poured his energy into preparing, consulting with mentors, revising drafts, and rehearsing his pitch. On the day of the presentation, his nerves were almost unbearable. As he stood before the board, he glanced at Mr. Bennett, who had been invited as a guest. The old man gave him a reassuring nod. Ethan took a deep breath and began. He spoke passionately about his vision, a plan to expand the company's outreach programs, creating partnerships with local communities to provide training and employment opportunities. His proposal wasn't just innovative. It was rooted in empathy and purpose. By the time he finished, The room erupted into applause. The board approved his proposal unanimously, praising not only its feasibility but also its potential impact. For Ethan, it was a defining moment, one that proved he belonged exactly where he was. More importantly, it validated the values he carried with him: compassion, resilience, and a commitment to giving back. Over time, Ethan's role within the company grew. He became a leader, spearheading initiatives that aligned with his vision of empowering others. His efforts inspired colleagues and clients alike, earning him recognition not just within the organization but across the industry. Looking back, Ethan realized how far he'd come since that fateful morning when he helped Mr. Bennett cross the street. What started as a simple act of kindness had transformed into something extraordinary, an opportunity to rewrite his future and touch the lives of countless others. Little did Ethan know, his journey was far from over. With each step forward, he continued to honor the legacy of kindness that had sparked it all, proving that even the smallest gestures could create monumental change. As Ethan's career flourished, he became increasingly aware of the ripple effects his success could create. He didn't want his achievements to benefit only himself. He wanted them to uplift others too. Inspired by Mr. Bennett's generosity and guidance, Ethan dedicated himself to paying it forward, ensuring that the opportunities he received would extend to those who needed them most. One of his first initiatives was launching a mentorship program within his company. The program paired young professionals from underserved communities with experienced employees willing to share their knowledge and networks. Ethan personally mentored several participants, teaching them not just technical skills, but also life lessons about resilience, humility, and integrity. Many of these men went on to secure stable jobs or pursue higher education, breaking free from cycles of poverty. Outside of work, Ethan expanded his volunteer efforts. He partnered with local schools and community centers to host workshops on financial literacy, career planning, and entrepreneurship. These events drew crowds of eager attendees, students dreaming of brighter futures, single parents seeking stability, and retirees hoping to contribute meaningfully. Ethan's presence inspired hope, showing people that no matter where they started, there was always a path forward. Word of Ethan's initiatives spread quickly, catching the attention of influential figures, including Mr. Bennett. One evening, as they sat together in the study of Mr. Bennett's estate, the old man beamed with pride. "You've done remarkable things, Ethan," he said, his voice filled with admiration. "Your work reminds me why I chose to invest in you." Ethan smiled, shaking his head modestly. "I couldn't have done any of this without your belief in me, Mr. Bennett. You gave me the tools. I'm just trying to use them wisely." "That's exactly what I hoped for," Mr. Bennett replied softly. "Kindness is like a seed. When nurtured, it grows into something far greater than itself. And look at what you've grown, a forest of opportunity." Together, they brainstormed ways to amplify their impact. With Mr. Bennett's resources and Ethan's vision, they launched a foundation aimed at empowering disadvantaged individuals through education, job training, and community development. The foundation quickly gained traction, attracting donors, volunteers, and supporters eager to join the cause. Ethan's leadership style set him apart. Unlike many executives focused solely on profits, he prioritized purpose. He encouraged his team to think creatively about how their projects could benefit society. For example, one initiative involved partnering with local businesses to hire graduates of the foundation's training programs. Another project provided grants to entrepreneurs from low-income backgrounds, helping them turn innovative ideas into thriving ventures. Through these efforts, Ethan formed deep connections with the people he helped. He often visited the communities impacted by his work, listening to their stories and learning from their experiences. These interactions reminded him of his own struggles: the long hours, the sleepless nights, the constant worry about making ends meet. They fueled his determination to keep pushing boundaries and expanding access to opportunities. Meanwhile, Ethan's relationship with Mr. Bennett grew stronger. The old man, now frail but still sharp-witted, continued offering wisdom and encouragement. Their conversations often turned philosophical, exploring themes of legacy, gratitude, and the interconnectedness of humanity. "We're all threads in the same tapestry," Mr. Bennett once said. "What matters isn't how brightly we shine individually. It's how we weave ourselves into the lives of others." Ethan carried these lessons with him, weaving them into every decision he made. Whether speaking at conferences, leading meetings, or mentoring young professionals, he emphasized the importance of compassion and collaboration. His message resonated deeply, inspiring others to adopt similar values. Over time, Ethan's influence extended beyond his immediate circle. Media outlets began covering his story, highlighting how a simple act of kindness had sparked a movement. People around the world were moved by his journey, realizing that even small gestures could lead to extraordinary outcomes. Some were motivated to volunteer, while others started their own initiatives, creating a domino effect of positive change. For Ethan, the greatest reward wasn't fame or recognition. It was seeing the tangible impact of his efforts. Former men's sent him letters thanking him for believing in them when no one else did. Parents expressed gratitude for programs that gave their children a chance at a better future. Communities transformed before his eyes, becoming hubs of innovation, resilience, and hope. Looking back, Ethan realized that his journey wasn't just about personal growth. It was about collective transformation. Every person he helped carried a piece of his story forward, spreading kindness and opportunity wherever they went. Together, they proved that compassion wasn't just an emotion. It was a force capable of reshaping the world. Little did Ethan know, the legacy he and Mr. Bennett had built would continue growing long after they were gone, reminding generations to come that kindness always finds its way back, often in ways bigger and brighter than anyone could imagine. Years passed, and Ethan's foundation became a beacon of hope for countless individuals. The programs he and Mr. Bennett had started grew into national initiatives, reaching communities across the country. Scholarships funded education for deserving students, job training workshops equipped workers with vital skills, and entrepreneurship grants empowered dreamers to build businesses that created jobs and revitalized neighborhoods. Mr. Bennett, now in his late 80s, watched with pride as Ethan transformed into a leader who embodied the values they both cherished: kindness, humility, and a commitment to giving back. Though frail and often confined to a wheelchair, the old man remained actively involved, attending events and offering guidance whenever needed. His presence was a reminder of where it all began, a single act of kindness that sparked a movement. One afternoon, as Ethan visited Mr. Bennett at his estate, the old man handed him a letter. "This is for you," he said softly, his voice tinged with emotion. "It's time I stepped back fully. You've surpassed everything I ever hoped for." Ethan opened the letter, his eyes widening as he read its contents. Mr. Bennett had officially transferred ownership of the foundation to him, entrusting Ethan with the responsibility of carrying their mission forward. Tears welled up in Ethan's eyes as he looked at the man who had changed his life forever. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice breaking, "for believing in me when no one else did." Mr. Bennett smiled, patting Ethan's hand. "Belief only goes so far. It's what you did with it that matters. You've proven yourself worthy, not just of my trust, but of the trust of everyone whose lives you've touched." In the years that followed, Ethan continued expanding the foundation's reach, ensuring its impact lasted for generations. He traveled to conferences, sharing his story and inspiring others to embrace compassion as a guiding principle. His message was simple yet powerful. Kindness isn't about grand gestures. It's about seeing someone in need and choosing to help, even if it seems small. Meanwhile, former beneficiaries of the foundation carried the torch, creating their own projects and initiatives. A young woman who'd received a scholarship opened a free tutoring center in her hometown. A man trained through the job program launched a nonprofit to clean up urban areas and provide employment for struggling families. Each act of generosity added another thread to the tapestry Mr. Bennett had described, a web of kindness stretching farther than anyone could have imagined. When Mr. Bennett passed away peacefully in his sleep, Ethan delivered the eulogy at his funeral. Standing before a crowd of friends, family, and grateful recipients of the foundation's work, Ethan spoke from the heart. "Mr. Bennett taught me that success isn't measured by wealth or status. It's measured by the lives we touch and the legacies we leave behind. He gave me a chance, and I promised myself I'd use it to give others the same. As Ethan concluded his speech, he glanced at the photo of Mr. Bennett displayed beside the podium. In that moment, he felt a deep sense of gratitude, not just for the opportunities he'd been given, but for the chance to honor Mr. Bennett's legacy by continuing the work they had started together. Little did Ethan know, the ripple effects of their partnership would endure long after both of them were gone, proving that kindness has no expiration date. Together, they had shown the world that even the smallest acts of compassion could grow into something extraordinary, a timeless reminder that we all have the power to change lives, including our own. Years later, Ethan stood on a stage addressing a crowd of thousands at an annual charity gala hosted by the foundation. Behind him was a slideshow of photos, smiling faces of scholarship recipients, thriving businesses launched with grant funding, and communities transformed by job training programs. Each image told a story of hope, resilience, and opportunity. As he gazed out at the audience, Ethan reflected on his journey. What started as a simple act of kindness, helping an injured old man cross the street, had grown into something far greater than he ever imagined. That moment had connected him to Mr. Bennett, who believed in his potential and gave him a chance to rewrite his future. In turn, Ethan had used that chance to create opportunities for others, proving that kindness could spark a chain reaction of positive change. Ethan smiled, thinking about Mr. Bennett's words, "We're all threads in the same tapestry." He now understood what the old man meant. Every life touched by compassion became part of a larger story, a legacy of love and generosity that transcended time. As the event concluded, Ethan stepped outside into the cool night air. Looking up at the stars, he felt a deep sense of peace. His life hadn't been easy, but it had been meaningful. Through one small act of kindness and the belief of a stranger, he had found purpose, built connections, and created a better world. In the end, Ethan's story served as a reminder. Kindness always comes back, often in ways bigger and brighter than we can imagine. Sometimes, all it takes is one brave moment to set off a ripple effect that transforms countless lives, including your own.